Album Concept Hour. The Album Concept Hour. It's the Album Concept Hour.
Welcome, everybody, to the Album Concept Hour. I am, of course, your host, Brad of the Low Flame. We have our co-hosts, Tall John Beer and David the Daft.
Well, hello.
But who else is it in the studio? You wonder. You can hear that there's someone else lurking in the shadows. Who is it? Who is it? Are you? Do you want me to answer the question, or do you want me to keep on drawing it out the way that I am right now? Oh my goodness! You heard him. You heard him in the shadows.
It's me lurking in the shadows.
They say that he goes by Fang VonWrathenstein.
That's right.
His friends call him Ty, I think. But welcome, Fang VonWrathenstein.
It's wonderful to be here. You can call me Ty for short. You know, it makes it easier.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the podcast just gets extended by multiple hours.
Yeah. We'll shorten it to Ty for now, or Fang if you want to be exciting.
You know,
but,
Ty is like that's the mortal alias, you know, that I go by basically because I don't know if you've ever gone to the DMV and you've tried to fill out your name on the forms where they give you like the little block letters that you can fill things out. They never give you enough little block letters to fill out Fang VonWrathenstein. So I thought to myself, well, what's the shortest mortal name I could use? And, you know, I thought Bob, but that's 3. But wait a minute, Ty is 2 letters.
Yeah.
That's even shorter.
Yeah.
So I just went with that.
Way easier.
Yeah.
Way easier.
They're
It's good
they're
for
really,
us mortals.
Yeah, they really
mere mortals.
are judgmental towards magical creatures and beings out there. You know,
I know.
They don't want us to be able to do our thing and exist as we are. You know, it's sick.
And the paperwork at the DMV is just way more hassle if you have to fill all that stuff out. There's extra forms.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
just ridiculous.
You want to know what kind of magic
You're already there for
using?
2 hours.
You don't need to know that, you know? Like,
And then you fill out the wrong form. Oh, no, you need to fill
start over.
form, 1C. Damn it.
Have you ever had to register your sword?
No, but I did have to register my fists as deadly weapons.
Right.
that's good.
Yeah. Well,
I have
those
too many
are-
swords to register. You know, I probably shouldn't be talking about that. The official sword registry might come knocking down at my door.
It's one.
You know.
Just have one.
What is it? Alcohol, tobacco, and swords? Something like that.
Yeah. That's the
ATS.
the ATS. Yeah. But yeah, welcome to the Album Concept Hour. Thanks for coming on. I reached out because you're one of the you and the group that you're the front man of, Lords of the Trident, are one of the Madison staples. I saw you guys, I think, in 2017 or 2018. Last so many years are a little hazy. But you guys put on a killer show. All your live footage is amazing. We're glad to have you.
I'm surprised. This is a killer album. So
I'm super happy to be here.
Yeah, and this is the latest full length album, right? I saw that there was another thing on Spotify, but is that a single or?
Yeah, that's correct. We did so after our Japan tour in December of last year. When we were on tour in Japan, we did a cover of a song by the Japanese band Anthem. Really amazing Japanese thrash power metal band, and we when we got back we recorded it, and while we were there we basically shot a music video for it. So it was a single.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which music video was? The Anthem thing, right? That's the music video. Yeah. That's a really really fun one.
I bet this album kills in Japan.
Well, yeah. I mean, how did that come to be? Like, how did you get connected to Anthem and even getting the tour going to go overseas to Japan?
Yeah. So in terms of Anthem, I've always I want to say one of the guys maybe Aki shared an Anthem album with me back in the day, and I just fell in love with them. I really enjoyed Anthem quite a bit, and they've been kind of like a staple of the tour van. You know, like when we're doing long 8-9 hour drives, we'll throw on a bunch of albums, and we're like, So there's a couple of albums that are always on constant rotation, and Anthem, especially the Anthem album Immortal, is one of the ones that we constantly spin.
Yeah.
So when we went over there, we they have a song off of their it's called Absolute World, I think it's their 2016 album, and it's like a 2-minute and 30-second song. It's just like an in and out, just perfect, done, really quick banger called Destroy the Boredom. And it was just, and I think it's that whole like Japanese people singing in English lyrics that like you get what they're saying, but they don't 100% translate, like destroy the boredom. It's like, I mean, I get what you're going for,
I appreciate it.
Dude, I destroy my boredom all the time when I'm playing some video games, relaxing. Yeah.
So we wanted to throw in a cover song. Because it was our first time in Japan. And I also think we turned a lot of heads because I suppose I speak Japanese, and I have a major in it. Yeah.
Yeah. You were bringing that to your singing then. I was going to say you did that really well for a non-speaker, but you speak it. Cool.
I do. Yep. I was one of my majors from UW-Madison was Japanese. So
nice.
Nice. Yeah. So we went over there and kind of turned a lot of heads when I would do like stage banter with the audience, like in Japanese. They were not expecting that at all. People's heads kind of exploded from that. So
did you like withhold that for a couple of songs sometimes?
A white person speaking fluent Japanese. Holy shit.
And like the funniest stage, the part that killed every single night when we were on tour was I would do this, it was like the third song in, I'd be like, I bet you're wondering, it basically translated to like, I bet you're wondering how this white guy can speak Japanese. And the truth of it is that, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, I majored in it in college, but I have completely forgotten all of my Japanese. I don't speak any of it anymore. And so when you come by the merch booth to buy a t-shirt, please speak very slowly. And that, that killed every night. Everybody really, really liked that little planned out banter. So
and did they come to the table and was it a long and arduous line because of how slow they're speaking?
Well, I mean, it was more like thankfully they were speaking slow because otherwise they come up to you and be like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like I am. I'm not that fluent. Like, come on.
Yeah. Maybe a few more tours in Japan. And
we are going back in December. So yeah.
Wow, already getting a second tour. That's exciting, man. That's awesome.
It's us, and we're taking the band Seven Spires along with us, who's also known for doing concept records, so maybe another band for your list there.
Good to know.
I was gonna say, I mean, if you can give them my email address or whatever if they want to talk concept stuff,
Yeah. But in terms of your previous question of how the whole Japan tour came together is, as my wife and I, we both majored in Japanese in college, and we had a bunch of friends, and actually, Aki. Our guitarist was in the Japanese program basically up through sixth semester. He was almost majored in it. And so we had a lot of friends, a lot of classmates who moved over there after college. And we had one classmate who started up a small business, kind of a boutique travel tourism kind of a thing where he would take groups of 10 to 15 people over who'd never been to Japan and do these hyper targeted tours for these people, and he'd do like a theme. So 1 month would be like the sake tour, 1 month would be the anime tour, 1 month would be the beer tour, 1 month would be the food tour. And so I hit him up and I said, "Yo, if we ever tour Japan, would you want to do like a Lords of the Trident themed tour?" And he's like, "Oh my God, yes, absolutely." So we put that together, and we asked people on our Patreon if they wanted to come over and basically sightsee by day and follow us on tour by night. And we'd take care of all the travel arrangements and we'd have translators on hand. We've had, do all of the trains and hotels and everything would be taken care of. So we brought over 25 people with us.
Wow.
And we had just an absolutely incredible time, like touring all over the country and having these people along with us. So we sold out half the shows. I didn't know how we were going to do, honestly, in Japan, but we sold out half the shows and we did pretty well.
Man, Japanese, the Japanese love like our thrash metal and
Yeah.
metal and stuff like that. So
Oh, for sure.
There's a
for
lot
sure.
of our music that like we found, you know, on the podcast, having covered like the Ventures and certain other acts. Like there are certain bands that like Japan is where they make it. Japan is like the place where they're known. And like, you know, back home, it's like, you know, it's whatever.
So-and-so.
It's, you know, it's your
It'd be like super
But they,
popular.
they, they don't care because they get
but
their
yeah.
money from elsewhere.
yeah. But the Ventures, though, yeah, there was one of those bands that like, you know, had a, you know, big heyday after their heyday here because it got picked up by a Japanese audience. So they've always been kind of, there's been this like kind of feedback loop between us and Japan as far as the music goes, you know?
Right.
So yeah, that's
We've
all.
been dropping the bomb for like 50, 60 years now.
Oh.
well, I mean, not continuously. We did it.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm talking about the
Also-
music bomb. I'm talking
also,
about the
it was
music
like-
bombs.
it was like 70 or 80 years now.
I guess
because we're getting
yeah,
old
yeah.
now. Yeah, I know for a long time it was like, oh yeah, that was 50 years ago.
They just love the Gap Band.
Right.
But yeah, no, they there has been this back and forth, and yeah, it's really cool when you can see your stuff take root elsewhere.
Yeah.
you know that's
Well,
you know.
and you know, we've kind of come full circle now because Mad with Powerfest, the festival that we run here this year, our headliners are Anthem. They're coming over.
Oh,
from Japan.
they're coming over here now. Okay.
Yep. hmm
Hell yeah, dude. So you guys must have had a good time on the road then.
We did. Yeah, we had
Yeah.
a great time, and
Nice.
we're actually really looking forward to going back. So you know how I said last time we had 25 people sign up
Yeah.
for the trip. So with this trip with us and Seven Spires, we actually had 85 people sign
Yeah.
up for this trip, and we had to cut it down to 40 because we were like, there's
Yeah,
no
yeah.
way. You know, I don't know if you've ever seen like, you know, 10 Americans trying to get on a bullet train and you have like a 2-minute window. I can't imagine 40 and not, I can't even
alone
imagine,
80.
85. Like, can you imagine? Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
yeah,
So-
yeah.
break Japan.
That's a big party. Yeah. But yeah, so tell us a little bit about the offering. It's another concept album. We'll get to, you know, the stuff that it's about, but like what kind of inspired this particular album, or what were some of the things that were like, you know, floating around in your head while putting this one together? Or who
Yeah.
does I don't know who does the writing. I guess I'm assuming because you're the lead singer, but that's not always the case.
Well, I write a lot of I write pretty much all the lyrics and vocal melodies.
hmm
But Brian, aka Baron Torian Helishar, he writes most of the music. Aki also writes some of the songs too. I
Yeah.
think on this album it was probably like 70-30%
hmm
in terms of Brian writing 70% and Aki writing 30%.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the way that it usually works is that one of those guys will come up with like a good riff or a song idea. In terms of the Baron, he'll just sit down and like write out the whole song and demo it out and record all the parts like just in his bedroom. You know, he's just got everything on GarageBand, and he'll send out like these, you know, these things where it's like, oh, I wrote a song, you know, and then we might add or subtract, do a little bit of stuff here and there, but yeah, a lot of his stuff he comes with a song basically fully formed, except for the lyrics and melody and that kind of stuff.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, you know, when we were writing the offering, I mean, we were writing a lot of it, you know, around and during COVID.
Yeah.
We were writing it, you know, at least for me, kind of the mindset. This album, comparatively to a lot of our albums, is a lot more like darker, and both in style and also in like tone.
Mm.
And I think, you know, it's a reflection of a lot of the stuff that we were kind of going through, just both ourselves personally and also just kind of in the world, you know, like shit was kind of fucked up between 20, you know.
Weird
I don't
time.
know. It was a weird time. It was, you know, like so.
I don't know if listeners know this, but there was a pandemic of some kind.
It was a pandemic, and
I
you
just
know,
time
like,
traveled. I have no idea what happened.
What are you talking about, Brad?
It's foggy. Again, it's foggy. But
yeah. So and then there was just
COVID
a lot.
brain.
You know, there was just a lot of bad other bad things in the world that were just generally like
yeah.
So I think that kind of influenced some of the perspective of it.
Yeah.
And the album, when we were sitting, so the way that we typically do this, right, is the guys will come and they'll have a song, we'll demo it out, and I will come up with lyrics and a vocal melody and put it over the top of it. And we usually we usually do it like a couple songs at a time. So we'll do, three songs, and then they'll write some more, and then we'll do another three songs, and they'll write some more. We don't, I don't think we've ever sat down and written out like an entire album or come up with an entire concept for an album. And in fact, this album did not start off as a concept album. It actually accidentally became a concept album.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So one of the first songs that we put together for this album was the song Charlatan, which I think is song number 3, if I'm remembering that correctly. And I'd sort of come up with this idea of this this kind of character. So one of the things that Aki always makes me do, which I think is very fun, is that he will always pepper me with these questions of so I'll write a song, I'll write some lyrics, and then he'll ask me about like the general world of the song that I've created that I did not think of and I do not have answers to. So like great example on Shadows from the Past, on the album before this, there's a song called Tormentor, which is about a giant, space mining robot ship that runs amok and turns around and goes to destroy Earth. And he's like, well, what kind of fuel does it run on? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, well, were there a lot of people on the ship or not? And I was like, well, I didn't think about, so I've to sort of like, to sort of
details
to prep for that. Right. Now when I'm writing lyrics, I will write out the song, and then I'll start thinking preemptively about like the questions that Aki will ask. Like, okay, well, this guy's fighting these dudes who he's calling charlatans. Like, well, what is this guy? And like, why is he fighting them? And blah, blah. And so I started thinking about that as I was writing these lyrics in the thought that Aki would ask me these questions. And then I just couldn't stop thinking about the general world that I'd started to like create with this guy. And so then I thought, okay, well, I'm going to make it like a twofer. I'm going to do like the next song we were working on was Acolyte. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this guy's backstory on Acolyte. And then, the song will finish on Charlatan, where it's like a 2-part little story across 2 songs. Right. Then I started writing Acolyte, the lyrics and stuff for that, and then I started thinking about the backstory for that because I knew he was going to ask me more questions, and then it just sort of blossomed into this thing where it was like, oh crap, I think I've created a concept record. The funniest thing too is that Aki does not like concept records at all. Like he hates them.
But you're in like the concept record genre, kind of.
Right? So we ended up digging more into this, right? Because he has said this previously. He's like, I don't like concept records. I don't like Chrome. And what we ended up figuring out, because I finally had to break the news to the entire band after we had written, like, I think it was 10 or 11 songs on this record. I finally had to sit everybody down and be like, hey, so don't hate me, but if you haven't noticed yet, there is a narrative running through this album, and of course nobody noticed. they were too focused on like their parts and like playing their solos, right? Yeah. But nobody paid attention to the lyrics, And what I realized from Aki is that he doesn't like concept records where there's like narration on the record,
Oh my god!
Oh, that specific, just that.
I think that's the specific, like he doesn't.
So not a fan of Operation Mindcrime.
Oh, that's a good, because he likes that album a lot.
Oh,
so
okay, maybe that's an exception. Maybe that's an exception.
He does have exceptions, but I think what he wanted, and I would 100% agree with this.
Yeah,
he wanted a record that could be a record on its own where you don't need the story to enjoy it. And then if you want to
right.
dig deeper into the record, then, you know, you can use the story to dig deeper into the record, but you don't necessarily, you don't have to know what's going on to like put a song on and play it and enjoy it and that kind of thing. You know,
Each
I
track
think
has its own story.
I think the last two Unleash the Archers records are really good examples of that, where like there is a story, but you don't need it. It's not necessary to enjoy like specific tracks or even to like get the gist of what's going on in specific tracks. So I think you know that's more of the thing. He didn't want to turn it into like you know, a narrative experience, like a book on tape, you know.
Well, you can get
music.
You can get too into the concept. Like you can let the concept take over everything and lose your friends and bandmates along the way. So I'm glad that everything worked out, and this isn't like one of your what was it? Didn't this I feel like someone from Iron Maiden left after Seventh Son of the Seventh Son because of some of this kind of bullshit. I don't know. Listen back to our episode about that. I can't remember. But do you guys want to get on to some of the tracks from this record we've been talking about?
Yeah,
I would love to.
We got.
Well, it's like I gotta ask. Like, did you know that they're like the record that we're covering tonight here? Like, because you're the one that introduced me to the YouTube version that has the guy
right
doing like
that's the one that John watched. If you want, you can watch that
like
version.
And I tell you, that had me gripped. I was gripped from like the get go.
Yeah,
you know, like, and then he did his little narration in between each track, and it was just it.
Yeah,
and then I paid attention to each track a little more, and it was just epic.
Yeah. It definitely helped for what we do here at the Album Concept Hour. It had that guy, you know, helped, you know, put any.
I didn't even know that guy
together,
wasn't
you know?
like involved with you at all. For the record, I just thought that was the record. I did not listen to the album as a whole.
Yeah.
Like I just
I mean, we ended up doing, you know, I did that whole sort of like lyric video for every song kind of an idea because I wanted it to sort of be that like narrative experience.
Yeah.
But, and I do kind of feel like, you know, you can just listen to the record and have it be the record and not like open up the liner notes and read those notes that I've added in there. Yeah. But we created that as sort of like hey, if you want like the full package, you know, with like the storyline and everything, like here you go. And you can see the lyrics coming up as they come up, and you can read them, and you can see the extra the extra artwork that we put into the booklet that kind of like outlines the story as we go.
Let me tell you, it's a beautiful thing. It's beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. It's a really fun listen, and it starts with kind of you know, as a lot of concept albums start with bit of prologue and setting some of the stage of you know, the world that we're about to enter. So here is a little bit of Legend.
We're in a rating system here.